You try to tyrannize anybody who doesn't toe your line. Well, you're not going to tyrannize me. That goes to you on the right as well as the left. I see the crappy emails you send out. You think because you sit there in your pajamas and send out a drooling email that somebody knows who you are? The hell with you. The hell with you. And that goes to all of you at Fox News. Shame on all of you. Because when this is all over, and history judges that I was unfairly treated, you will have been on the wrong side of history. All of you on Fox News. All of you self-righteous phonies. All of you who wear crosses and make believe you're so great because you're not a liberal. You are a liberal. You're no different than any of them. Because you're listening to that bigot over there who tells you not to have Michael Savage on. Shame on you. Of all of them, Fox News is the worst. I'd expect this from Wolf Blitzer and the cohorts at CNN. I'd expect it from Katie Koran. But I wouldn't expect it from Fox News, which poses as a conservative organization, and yet they ban Michael Savage. How do they differ from Gordon Brown? What have I said that's so frightening to Rupert Murdoch's minions? Well, add it up, government media complex. And I want to tell you something else. Because of you, this is all happening. Because of my audience, which is so powerful, the Cambridge Union has invited me to debate. That's a great honor. History will judge that I am the most honored talk show host in American history. I'll say that right now. History will judge that Michael Savage is the most honored talk show host in American history. There's nobody who can come near me. I am the king of talk radio in the United States of America, if not the world. If you didn't know it from the New Yorker article, then you'll know it from the Cambridge Union. And the reason I'm telling you is because if I don't tell you, nobody will tell you. The fact is, it's the truth. And the fact is, history will judge me as such. And I want to remind you of something else. My book, Banned in Britain, was not touched by one New York publisher. They allegedly publish conservative authors, but they won't publish Michael Savage. I have 4 bestsellers, New York Times bestsellers, and they won't touch me? Why is that? What are they so afraid of? Who do they answer to? They take lesser people, illiterate lesser people who copy books from Thomas Paine and put their name on it with quotes around it, and they call that a book? So I published Banned in Britain myself. I'm telling you right now, this is your only opportunity to own a classic first edition of Banned in Britain. You can only buy it on michaelsavage.com, okay? And I suggest you do it now. Now, having said that, I want to go to you again. Should I accept this honor? I mean, it is an honor, but it's a risky honor, isn't it? Let's start with Jeremy in New York on WOR. Jeremy, should I accept this offer or not? Go ahead, please.
Why are you running our precious radio time with this English crap?
Jeremy, I'm sorry, what?
Why are you running our time? You're worse boring than hell.
Jeremy, could you speak in English? You're using a fake voice. No one knows what you're saying, except your mother. Can you please use a real voice? Sure he hung up. He was a liberal. That's all. Salt Lake City, Alan, go ahead, please.
Yes, Dr. Savage, first-time caller, long-time listener. You betcha. You get on that debate. You don't have to be coached on this. I've been listening to you for years. You have the intellectual firepower. You have the historical resource base all wrapped up in that mind of yours. You will have no problem. And in respect to the invitation, I can't think of a more prestigious honor being offered. I'm from a British Commonwealth country myself.
Are you from Australia?
I'm a New Zealander, Michael. I've lived.
I was close, Alan. I spent a lot of time in Fiji. I almost got it right.
Aussie's that little offshore island from New Zealand.
No, I don't mean to diminish New Zealanders. They're great people. Everyone I've met, I've always really enjoyed the interaction, and I have a soft spot for New Zealanders and Australians as well because of their heroics in World War II and how many young men died so that I could be free to speak in this country. But isn't it ironic that although your ancestors fought for the freedom of speech, that Gordon Brown would deny it to me?
Well, Gordon Brown is a socialist. He's on record, Michael, as having said, and you'll have to excuse me, I can't cite it quite at the moment, but Gordon Brown, his dream was to have a socialist government entirely for Scotland, but he's moved further down. And
well, because he released the Lockerbie bomber. This seems to be the last straw for the British people, don't you think?
Well, I wrote to the Cambridge Union today and expressed my gratitude that you'd been asked to debate. And I pointed out to them rather cryptically that to have you invited is a hell of a lot better than what their Scottish cousins further north did with the, of course, drawing reference to the Loch.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Alan. I'm going to send you a free copy of Banned in Britain. Again today, I'm going to be giving this book out. I want it widely circulated. I don't take that many callers. Whoever does get on the show will get a free copy of Banned in Britain. It is going to be a collector's item. And yes, I do want people to read it. Yes, I do. And I want you to read it as well. So stay on the line. Free copy goes out to you.
Savage.
Armstrong and Getty, we're on every weekday morning from 6 to 10.
He is a national treasure. He is Dr. Savage on Talk 910 KNEW.
I'd say the queen, the fascist regime, and made you a moron. Potential hate bomb.
Buckingham Palace.
I'd say the queen, she ain't no
It
human
is the Savage Nation. And to think I was going to take this week off, I just had an instinct that this week would be big. I knew it. Every time the media is away, something big happens. Now, I want to say something else. Many of you are saying, well, why are you talking about yourself and England and being banned in Britain so much? Why don't you move on to health care and whatnot? Well, I do that once in a while, but truthfully, there are two reasons I am talking about this. Number one, it's because it's important that I defend myself and free my name from this list. It's a very dangerous thing to permit my name to sit out there this long with real murderers and terrorists. And two, I believe it's the most important story in the American media. Now you say, how could that be? Because it's about an American commentator who has been banned from a Western democracy for statements he allegedly made that he didn't make. That's number one. Can't you understand the magnitude of this problem? How in the world could you be so, let us say, the word I'm looking for is, how could you be so petty as to think that the core of our society, by the way, is freedom of speech? It's the core of it. If they take away freedom of speech, they can take away all the other freedoms. Don't you understand the only thing you've got is the ability to stand up and say no? What do you think that the town hall meetings are all about? It was people saying no to Obama. Now, you take away the First Amendment, there goes the Second, Third, Fourth, Fifth, and whatever other amendments they want to take away from you, because there'll be nobody to object. There will be no dissent. And so, therefore, my friends, this great honor of Michael Savage being invited to speak before the Cambridge Union and to speak against political correctness, which, as you know, is the precursor to fascism. It does not matter whether the fascism comes from the left or from the right. Fascism is fascism is fascism. And I will remind you again and again, that our First Amendment was written not to protect polite speech. Our First Amendment was written to defend objectionable speech. You don't need a First Amendment to protect polite speech, do you? No, you need a First Amendment to protect my speech, my offensive speech. It is offensive only to those who disagree with me. Just as Obama now wants to cull and record and capture and archive citizens' comments on the White House Facebook, YouTube, and MySpace sites. Why would they want to do that? Why have they looked out for a contractor to capture and preserve and collect comments made by common citizens on social networking sites? Why would he do it unless he was a dictator in the making? Why? If you can't put two and two together yet, you're a dummy. That's all. So the question is, number one, should I accept this invitation? Because it's still questionable. And two, what traps do you think they will lay for me about political correctness? How will they present it where they try to make me into a gang member, a bad guy? Why? Why wouldn't they do that? Why wouldn't they do that? I mean, I know some of the arguments they're going to use. They're going to say that when gender-based or racial epithets intimidate and silence and drive their victims from the arena of academic freedom, then this discourse cannot be defended as free speech. But what about when conservative views are driven from the arena of freedom of speech? What about the fact that conservative views have been driven from universities? What about that? The fact that conservative views have been driven from the San Francisco newspapers, the Los Angeles newspapers, the New York newspapers. What about that? How does that play out in in a politically correct society. Is that freedom? Of course it isn't. Now you understand what was behind this gender-based racial thing. It was all about grabbing power. It's always about grabbing power. So I know how to defend freedom of speech, because I'm actually now at the point of the spear. And it came down upon me. And believe me, I'd like to walk away from this sometimes. Some days I wake up and I say, I really don't need this. I don't want to do it anymore. Thanks to you, number one, my legal defense fund is flush with money. If I need to pursue it, I can take it to the end of the earth because you have donated money. Don't underestimate the power of money. The contributions have given me the power to fight the whole government of England if I need to. Number two, in the court of public opinion, I have won already in England. And number three, by you buying Banned in Britain, you're helping me, you're helping free speech, and you're helping yourself because you're going to own a collector's edition. I am telling you that I will be remembered as the most prominent talk radio host in American history. Nobody before me